ahead and start. So, yes. Julia, would you like to say something about just a few words about the background on why we're here?
Why we're here, yeah. Because this project, Planet One, has like a main methodology making, and that's like one of our three like corners of like methodology and learning. And we hardly have anyone that knows so much about making in the team or at Resuscit or at Greenpeace, but we find it really interesting. So that's why we wanted to get some learnings from you. Yeah, that was the background.
Thank you very much. And yeah, so I will be your host for the workshop and the meeting throughout the duration of the 2.5 hours that we have disposed. And yeah, there will be a mix between, I will do some presentations of my work, my history, and then we will have discussions around a lot of different topics. Before we begin, I would like to, let's see, either do some kind of energizer or a meditation. I feel like meditation. I could also do an energizer. What do you guys feel like?
Meditation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so just I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And just feel into our bodies, where we are at this moment, a connection with a chair or whatever it is we're sitting on. Feel the connection with the ground. With the air, with the breath. And just notice what is happening. There are sounds, perhaps. There's a bunch of thoughts popping up in everyone's minds. Sensations in the body. Feelings and emotions. And we can just observe how our awareness and our attention travels between all these different places. And then whenever we feel like it, we can bring the attention back to the body, to feel in our bodies. Whatever it is that we are feeling. And I invite you to just experience the totality of everything that's going on for you at this very moment. All the sounds, all the sensations. In the middle of all this, there's you. And in front of you on the screen, there is us. And I invite you to open your eyes. And notice the other ones that are present with you here in this moment. Hello. So I would like to begin with we have already begun. We've begun with the meditation. So we'd like to move forward with a check-in. So during the check-in, one person will speak at a time, and you can just say, say your name and something about how you feel right now, what's going on for you, and yeah, say something also about like where you're located in the world. And whoever begins will begin, and then another person will follow along.
Are we waiting for someone to to start? Yeah, okay, I can start. My name is Julia. I work as a learning manager in this project. I'm based in Stockholm, Sweden, but right now I'm actually in Germany. And yeah, how I'm feeling. I'm excited for this workshop, but I'm also a bit like I will have meetings the whole day today until 5 without lunch. So we'll see how that goes. I'm a bit nervous for that, but I think maybe I'll be energized by this workshop, I hope. Yeah, I pass it on to anyone.
Okay then, hi there, I'm Daniel, I'm based in Budapest, Hungary. I got up super early to get a key for a weekend house on the other side of the city. So I already have many hours behind my back today, which feels weird and cool because I've already done a lot of stuff today. And I'm the local coordinator here in Budapest. I forgot to mention that. And I pass it to Sanda.
Hi, everyone. That meditation was difficult for me because I have a lot of thoughts going on. So it was very difficult to let go of them and to keep my eyes closed for some reason. Like I just couldn't. It was really difficult today. So I guess it's that kind of day where I can't relax really. But that's okay. I'm based in Stockholm. I'm the local coordinator for Momentum, Makerspace here. Yannick, you want to go?
Thanks, Sanda. Hej Olle, Nice to see you in this setting. So I'm the project manager for Planet One, and based here in Stockholm. I'm really excited about this workshop, starting to talk about culture. What kind of culture do we want? How do we do making in our context? What can we learn from the past and from your experiences? I've had a lot going on in my private life with moving houses and stuff, so I still feel a bit exhausted. I can feel how I'm relaxing when I'm doing the meditation. So I started meditating yesterday as well. So I'm like getting into that recovering mode now. And yeah, it feels good. And I guess we lost August. August has had serious issues with his internet at home. So now he's at a cafe. Hi, welcome back, August. Very convenient.
Thanks.
It's your turn.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my name is August Maluka. I am based in Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm the local coordinator for Planet One. Thanks.
It's breaking up a little bit, August, but I think we got most of it.
How are you feeling today, August?
Actually, thanks for the meditation. Usually don't do a lot of meditation. Yeah, I think it helped me. There's a lot of confusion right now happening in my personal life. With all the construction that's happening in my house, it's always noise and lack of electricity and all of that. My mind is just like everywhere trying to cope with everything. But the meditation that we did at least kind of like centered me to be more grounded. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. And me, Olle, I'm in Stockholm, south part of Stockholm, in my home. I feel I feel quite nervous and energized for the day. I'm excited to meet you all and spend this time together. Yeah, there's a lot of energy, and my mind is also in some different places. Lots of stuff going on in life, big changes happening that are drawing on my attention from all kinds of ways. So, but happy to be here with you for a little over 2 more hours now. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I think we will start with or maybe we should do. Do we know if the other ones are coming in 4 minutes, 20 past, or do we think they will be later? No one knows. Okay. So let's see. I will share my screen and we can have a little bit just an overview over the day to come. Let's see. Here we are. Yes. Oh, everything is in the wrong direction here. So this workshop will be a little bit messy, just as we are as humans. And there is a lot of stuff going on. Every time working in the maker world in one way or another, there will be a mess. So, but this is my intended schedule for today. We've done the hello and welcome. We've done a check-in. We've done a little grounding. And then we'll move forward to so I will do a presentation of me and my work, so you get to know a little bit of who I am and like what I bring to the table. Then my intention is to do a little wrap up of making through the ages, Then we'll have a short break, and yeah, then we will go into more discussion and like picking your worlds about what's going on for you, and especially with a focus on hope, where we can find hope. Going in after that into a more definition of what maker culture is for us. And by the end of the day, we will do some type of summary that will lead us into some ideas of the way forward, how we would like to go ahead with the work, and then a checkout, and then we're finished. How does that sound for you guys?
Great.
Good. All right, so I will keep sharing the screen and go into another window and start a little slideshow. So this will be a little journey through some different projects that I have been doing through the ages that are within the maker world, in different spaces, different places, and different venues. So yeah, before I tell you about what's on the picture here, I would just want to give a brief summary of like when did I become a maker, because I considered myself being a maker, and I think that was throughout my whole life. Basically, a few years ago, my father showed me a video of when I was a kid. I was 3 or 4 years old, and he recorded me when I was sitting with I had a big plank, a piece of wood with lots of nails in it, and I was sawing in it with a big saw and hammering on it with an axe. And when I saw this video a few years ago over Christmas, I got a little bit scared. And I started thinking about, oh, Dad, how could you be so irresponsible to let a 3 or 4 year old me handle a big axe and a saw like that? And then I thought, wait a minute, no, thank you, Father. You really trusted me. You trusted this very young version of me to handle these potentially dangerous tools. And you just let me play with that plank and do complete nonsense, just exploring the materials, exploring the tools, being in a little bit danger of hurting myself, but still allowing me to do that. So I think that is my probably one of my earliest moments where I got to learn like the maker pedagogy or maker philosophy, maker values of like, it doesn't have to make sense. It is okay if it's dangerous, and allowing myself and others to make mistakes. So yeah, from that moment, I spent a lot of my life just building stuff, exploring materials and tools, and having fun, and being in a privileged situation where I also have access to tools and space and materials. And finding friends throughout the years that also are interested in making things, making stuff in all kinds of different ways. When I was a teenager, I started with live role-playing games. So we made like these medieval fantasy characters. We made costumes and houses and soft latex weapons and chainmail armors and all kinds of things. Very, very nerdy. But very free and very, very fun. And this was in an environment where like no one was teaching us how to do these things except ourselves. Me and my friends figuring out ways to do that, traveling all across the country, meeting other young people who were interested in this, and yeah, creating worlds together with hundreds of people over weekends in imaginary realities. So that led me into a very like broad spectrum of what is possible to create. What worlds can I live in? And I've lived in many very, very different types of worlds. Many of the ones that I've been part of creating, co-creating together with others, which is what I think is kind of in the core of the maker movement. It is this ethos of we are creating this world together. We are active creators. We are not passive consumers. We make the things we need in order to have fun and enjoy life and make this planet into a better place for ourselves and others. So through these journeys, it led me to a place in the desert in the US where a big festival is held. It is called the Burning Man Festival. I went there in 2009. There were 40 or 50,000 people camping out in the desert with more or less no rules and just building and making stuff there. I will tell a little bit more about this later in the presentation, about this phenomenon that's called the Burning Man. And I was very inspired by this, so I wanted to go back and contribute to all the wonderful art pieces and installations that I've been able to experience that people made for free to this event. So I sat down with my friend Jon, and we had some pasta carbonara, and we talked about like what should we do when we get back there, because we have to bring something. We have to bring something to give to the other participants at this festival. So why not make a 25-meter long piano? Yeah, that's a good idea. How difficult can it be? And we decided that evening that, yeah, we were gonna build a 25-meter long piano, and we didn't know how to do it, but we figured it out along the way and made this huge piano that we can see in the picture here. And this is in 2010. So this is a huge piano that you have to step on in order to play on. It's connected through 1 kilometer of cables to a synthesizer that is connected to loudspeakers, and everything is driven by a solar power and battery bank. We built it here in Sweden and shipped it to the US and installed it there in the desert. A random fun fact about this, like when we are out here in the desert, we build our own camps with tents and everything, and so bring everything we need in order to survive and have a good time. And our neighbors had this piano car, so we could take the piano car out to the piano. And there were 2 pianos on the piano car, so you could play the piano on the piano car while going out to the piano. So it was a very piano focused experience. And yeah, this is me in the middle here with a turban, and this is pants from my LARPing years, made from a pattern for like the Vikings used. Hello, Rose. Welcome to the meeting. My name is Olle. I'm your host for today.
Olle. Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, no worries. You're very welcome. How are you today?
I'm very okay. Yes.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I am going through some examples of projects that I've made throughout the years in the world of makers.
Okay.
So right now we are at the Grand Flat Piano, which is a 25-meter long piano.
Oh, that's long.
Yeah. We applied for a Guinness World Record, but unfortunately they thought it was too obscure, so we didn't get it. But it was a great success. People love to play the piano. It was impossible to play it by yourself. Like you had to be a group of people playing it in order for anything meaningful to come out from it. So it was also an exercise in collaboration and co-creation. So there was usually like one director standing there and directing the other people on how to play the piano. Oh yes, and now over to something completely different. I was asked by a culture festival in Gothenburg when I was living there. Gothenburg is the 2nd largest city of Sweden. I was asked to do some kind of event together with a youth council Gothenburg has a youth council, so like a council for young people to gather in and to influence the city and the politics. And they have a festival every year, a culture festival. So I was asked if I had any ideas on what we could do during this festival. So we came up with the idea of doing Wellpapp Wonderland. Wellpapp is a cardboard in English, so it's a cardboard wonderland. And what we did was to bring just enormous amounts of cardboard, have a big open space, and for a few days we allowed for people to do whatever they wanted with the cardboard. And thousands of people showed up, and they built so many different things and started, yeah, making houses, robots. This is what it looked like. You can see the tent on the left side. We had 800 square meters in the tent. It got filled in half a day with projects, so we had to move out on the other side of the tent and work outside. And then we had to move out on the other side of the tent as well. So it was immensely popular. And people of all ages came and played, built stuff, all kinds of different weird things. Yeah, this is one of the guys from the youth council. The group from the youth council was coordinating the whole project, so they were like saying hello and welcoming everyone and giving them some instructions. The instructions were very few. This was like, yeah, we have a lot of cardboard and we have these special knives that are ceramic knives, so you can't cut yourself. So, and this space is open for anyone to do whatever you want. So please feel free and go ahead. That was basically the instructions, and nothing else was really needed. People just understood what to do and came together, made all kinds of vehicles, outfits, houses. And this is a painting machine that a father did with his daughter. So he was standing behind there and cranking this wheel, and the participants could come up and do like spiral drawings on this cardboard machine that he invented. Oh, this is Morfaye Murf, which is he's the general of the art biennale in Senegal. He was there and he made this beautiful painting for us with the earth in the center. Yeah, very innovative. Young girls figuring out how to make dresses out of cardboard. Some engineering students, they made an airplane. This is one of my favorites. It's a house and it has this beautiful flowers on the side and even bricks on the ceiling. So this was a group of young girls who they prototyped their dream house, how they wanted to live. And yeah, the whole cardboard project, it has been happening a few times around Sweden in different establishments. Very, very easy to make. Anyone could make it. You just have to have access to cardboard. You can find recycled cardboard, or as we did, we collaborated with a cardboard manufacturing company, and they had like some batches of cardboard that are damaged, and we could get those for free or just pay for the shipping for it. And cardboard is quite okay to use as a material. It's recyclable. Of course, it's not perfect. We still there is still some waste in using the material. But yeah, very, very happy people building, and a good project to see people really opening up and not being afraid to take the materials and the tools in their hands and just start building. And it doesn't have to be nice or look good or be perfect in any way. It can just like, people just go ahead. Which is a nice, good example of like low-level makering, low-level tinkering. Cardboard, tape, and ceramic knives is everything you need, and a space and people. So over to next thing. This is the maker tour. that I was working with in the National Museum of Science and Technology in Sweden. I was there for collaborating with them for 2 years. We had this bus, so we were moving around the cities of Sweden, mostly in rural areas, doing workshops for kids, teaching them how to program little robots and build funky machines, and play with programming and technology. So and this was in collaboration with some big companies in Sweden, with the intention of making young people interested in technology. So the big companies were sponsoring this project because they saw that if people got interested in technology, they would then go on to study technology on the university, and then the companies could hire them. So therefore, it made sense for the companies to sponsor this these types of events. So I think we met 10 or 15,000 people throughout these 2.5 years, in classrooms and in squares in the city, whenever things were happening during holidays, or when they had like a special theme in the school. We came to the schools and made different workshops for them. And one big insight from working with this and reaching into schools was that for many of the kids that were participating, this was the first time they had a classroom activity where they were not told exactly what to do. So we gave them materials and we asked them to invent something that you would like to see, or experiment with this material and see what can happen. And for many of the students, this was very difficult in the beginning, with having a low self-reliance and not trusting themselves into doing this. But usually after like half an hour or 40 minutes, they had understood that, yeah, that they can create. It's possible for them to take their own decisions and decide what they are going to do, and not just listen to the teacher telling them what exactly to do. And over to another interest of mine. This is not oh yeah, I love light. I love light installations, and I love building lightful, bright environments with people. So this I designed this flower. It's 12 meters in diameter, put together a team where most of the people did not know how to do anything of this. We had one guy who was going to program the lights. He had never programmed anything before, but he took this project as an opportunity to learn how to program LEDs. And the flower itself was put on it was in a festival in Sweden that was called the Borderland. We had this big wooden pyramid, and we put it in the center of the pyramid. And the idea of the architecture of this project was that it would create like a labyrinth, a maze, and then people would walk into the paths in the maze, and they would meet in the middle of it, and there would be a place for strangers to meet each other. And it actually worked just perfectly like that. Many times I saw people coming into the middle, and just first, usually they stayed in silence for a few moments and just looked at each other, and then started talking. So in Sweden, like strangers don't talk to each other so much. So this was a big a revolutionary effect on many shy people to connect. Very appreciated by the different hippies on this festival. And moving onwards with the light, I work a lot with light installations and festivals. For me, light is a way to like create another world in a small area sealed off from the rest of whatever is going on, and an easy way to draw people's attention into the here and now and bring fascination. So this was a light installation that was made on another festival called Into the Woods. We had a philosophy of wood wide web, working with the idea or the fact that the trees are communicating with each other. So we wanted to make an interface where we could communicate with the trees. So we put up Wi-Fi in the forest. You could not connect to the internet, but you could connect to the lights. And with the use of your cell phone, you could log in to an address, and then you could control these lights through the web interface on the cell phone. So you could decide there were different animations of the lights, so you could decide how fast they were going to move and what colors they were going to be. So people came here and stayed for usually like half an hour, and took a break from everything and got to play with and control the lights of the forest. So that's one thing I love with technology, is its potential to bring people in connection with each other and the environment, and bring people into participation and interacting with something, and taking control of the technology as active participants instead of passive onlookers or passive consumers. This is the solar panel that we had to power the lights. I had to put it up out here in the little swamp next to the very beautiful lake. Also a fun project for me. It was the first time I did my own solar power station to power an art piece. And just a beautiful picture from this lovely festival with my colleague Jonas sitting on next to the sauna that says, "Fuck it, I'm a flower." Yes, I have a workshop where I do my daily work. It's a collaborative, collective workshop where we are about 20 people sharing. So it's kind of a makerspace, but for professionals or people who work in art, design, and craft. And during the pandemic, we realized that there was a shortage of personal protective equipment. So we turned our makerspace into a factory for medical gowns. And that's what you can see on the picture here, because there was a shortage of medical gowns in Sweden and in most countries during the beginning of the pandemic. So we coordinated with the Stockholm Makerspace and a hospital, and together we came up with a pattern for a medical gown that could be made out of simple sheet plastic that you buy in a construction hardware store. And we converted some rooms in the makerspace to a factory for these medical gowns, and invited people to come and start manufacturing them and help distribute them. And it was a big success. We had a lot of people coming, and there were also other places copying the way we were doing the factory. So there were like 4 or 5 other gown factories open up in different other parts of Sweden, also producing medical gowns and delivering to healthcare workers in our local areas. I think in the end we produced around 15,000 gowns in our location, and somewhere around 100 or 200,000 in the whole network in Sweden. And I think one of the reasons this happened and why it was made possible that we started this factory was that we have a community around the makerspace. So there's a lot of different people flowing through every day, a lot of different talents, resources, and some people always have some free time, and they could be engaged in in the activities in the factory, and just have a, being attracted by the friendly atmosphere and of doing something meaningful in the time of crisis. And now, connecting to that, I will show a short video of some other initiatives that the maker movement responded with during the pandemic. Let's see. Oh, let's see. This has sound. Let me just try. Is the sound coming through? Yes or no? No sound. Okay, so I guess I will. There is some way of doing this. Yeah, okay, yeah, this way I do it.
All of our teams are doing everything.
Okay, so this is a 3-minute video showing that.
All of our teams are doing everything possible to get as much PPE, personal protective equipment, as we can.
We face an international, a global supply shortage.
Also to protect our tribal members, and our most vulnerable population are our elders.
How much PPE do we have for the needs of our healthcare personnel? And they said 10%.
The PPE supply has worsened rather than improved.
In regard to PPE, as you know, there is a market failure.
And I don't want to redo the mayhem of the PPE debacle.
There are times in history when politicians ask for our help. But with businesses closed and people out of work, it seemed like there was nothing we could do. But when you look closer, behind these closed doors and boarded up windows, the human spirit still has a pulse. There are people around the world making a difference. Volunteering their own time and resources, and turning their closed workplaces into PPE factories. We call them makers. Everyday people who were never asked to do anything, but decided to do something. Young and old making and creating masks and shields with 3D printers and sewing machines, from bedrooms to factories, from Brazil to France.
Working 24 hours a day, and this is the small workshop.
Makers doing their part as we weather the storm. People from more than 55 countries are volunteering to make millions of protective devices for all of us. They're helping our frontliners fight in this invisible battlefield.
Menangani isu COVID-19.
We are finding a purpose in the darkest of times. It's because we can imagine a better future that we are making a better now.
So a few examples from how the maker movement around the world gathered to tackle the pandemic. There are of course many references to this, what happened during the pandemic and the challenges we're standing for with the depletion of resources and biotopes and the climate in the future and now. So yeah, this is one of the most inspiring events that I've seen in the maker movement so far. And it happened also like there was no one centrally organizing all of those initiatives. It was just a whole bunch of people all around the world figuring out how to help and then sharing with others what worked. And others tagged along and did the same things. So I think there is a lot to learn from that and how we can use the maker communities, the maker philosophies into creating a sustainable and wonderful world together. But this was a few years ago now, so I just want to mention one project that I'm working on now. Is like I like to do low-tech things and high-tech things, and this is one of the more visionary projects. Like right now I'm working with the challenge on how to as you might have noticed, I really like festivals and these places where people gather temporarily and create worlds together. And one big problem we have in these places is sanitation and toilets. So usually there's porta potties that are not so like people do not put as much love into the porta potties as they do into the art and building the other environments. So me and a team, we want to do something about that. So we're creating this concept that's called the loop that will be we're prototyping this regeneration service station with the intention of putting the human back as a contributing factor in the ecosystem. And you could see this as a fertilizer factory. So we will take care of the pee and the poo and turn it into fertilizer. And then we will grow gardens and plants in and around this this building, this loop. That will also be a little bathhouse, a kitchen, and a community center, and a little bit like a museum or a science center where everything is focused on the loop of life, the flow of nutrients, and the human as a potential contributing organism in this ecosystem. So this will be prototyped in here in Stockholm through the spring, and in the desert in the United States in Nevada. So there was a few projects. I have one more. If you have the energy to see one more, yes, okay. See thumbs up. Let's do this one. Very large tinkering. I love doing things that are tiny, and I also love doing things that are really big. So this will be a story about a very big project. Okay, so this happened when I was living in Gothenburg on the west coast of Sweden. I randomly found this industrial warehouse that seemed empty, and I asked if I could get a key, and by some strange miracle I could get the key. So I got 500 square meters of this industrial warehouse for free for 2 years to do anything I wanted. So I started building stuff there. I built domes and a lot of experimentation with technology, and I kind of had my own makerspace and invited my friends to come and play. I did this project with a frisbee. I drilled holes and put LEDs inside the frisbee and a little battery, and then took long exposure photos of it. I had a lot of fun with that. Some experiments with bubbles. These are tiny tiny bubbles from in an aquarium with a 2 centimeter high layer of tonic, and then I shine a laser through the tonic, and it activates the tonic and creates this visual effect. So these are bubbles of carbon in the tonic that I zoomed in with the camera. So yeah, I love to explore the world and the universe, and using the camera is one of my favorite ways to do that, and find beauty and create it in different objects. And I've been fascinated by this shape for a few years, the Sierpinski tetrahedron, a fractal, meaning that a fractal is a shape that is constructed of smaller pieces of itself. So a pyramid made of pyramids, And I'd only seen a two-dimensional rendering of it, and it kind of like, I couldn't get the idea out of my head. I needed to like hold it in my hands. I wanted to see how this strange object would look like in reality. This is a 2.5 dimensional object, whatever that means, but it kind of sounds crazy and I like it. So yeah, I started to make different versions of it in different materials, a big wooden one, a pink one, 4 meters tall, and in metal and in paper. And I wanted to make it a little bit more higher resolution, larger, so try to do that. I gathered some friends in my workshop. Our goal was to make this 2 meter tall one, but when we had made one that was 2 meters tall, we couldn't stop. So we spent half the night in the workshop and made 3 more and put them all together, creating this 4.5 meter tall pyramid with 256 pieces in it. It was just I don't know, it was something that mesmerized us in this project. We just were kind of drawn into it and couldn't stop, which is one of the wonderful like mechanisms of a makerspace. Suddenly someone just finds something that totally fascinates them and brings other people into that energy, and you never know what it is really. So 4.5 meters was easy to make, and we started to think, well, could we make a 9 meter tall one? And yeah, we could probably make a 9 meter tall one. That wouldn't be such a big challenge. But could we make an 18 meter tall one? Maybe. 36 would be too much in one go. So, but 18 meters would probably be possible. So we joined up with the Science Festival of Gothenburg, who helped us get in contact with the schools. So we worked with schools from all the different parts of the city of Gothenburg, and in total 1,200 middle school children was gonna help in building this 18 meter tall pyramid made out of 4,096 small pyramids. So we started testing, prototyping, and see if like, okay, is the material strong enough? The material we used was plastic, polypropylene plastic, like one of the not so bad plastics, since it's doesn't have any toxic elements and it's 100% reusable. So it's the material you see in the pyramids. It's only 0.4 and 0.8 millimeters thick. So it weighs almost nothing, but it's very, very strong. You can see this by, we put our engineer Eric on top of the pyramids to see like how much weight can they hold. And they seem to hold enough weight. So we moved on with the project. Started building some testing, real scale, learned that, we may have to make some improvements. We have to make some pieces need to be a little bit stronger. And then we started testing with the target group, with the children that was going to help us in the big project. So we went to some other smaller science festivals and involved people. And it turned out that it was also a lot of fun for the kids. Believe it or not, but the kids, they love to work in the factory building a pyramid. So they thought it was really fun. And that was, of course, like it would never have been possible if they didn't think it was fun to do that. So the goal, 18 meters tall pyramid, 1,200 middle school children. So we joined, I had workshops for a week with 1,200 people. That was a little bit too much. I wouldn't recommend having that many people in 1 week. Maybe half would be enough, but it worked. It was a lot of fun. Some of the kids came running back when the workshop was over, like fleeing from their teacher because they wanted to continue and make more pyramids. And it was interesting because in the first minutes they don't understand anything. Like, what are we gonna do here? What is the point of this? And why are we here? And blah blah blah. But as soon as they see that, oh, we're gonna make this 18-meter tall pyramid, and we're gonna try to hit a Guinness World Record, and the pieces you build will be part of this, together with over 1,000 more people, then you could see something happen in the kids. They started to shine, and they got really eager to get going and to work together. And working together is one of the most rewarding things we can do as human, and it's very like it happens a lot in the makerspaces. We work together and we do it voluntarily. So a lot of tape, a lot of taping, plastic, different pieces together. And so we worked in this one location, and then we had to move and store the pyramids on another location before we were going to put up the big installation. And they were stored there for 3 weeks. And when we got back, we noticed that they had started to fall apart. So that was bad. And we thought that, damn it, maybe we will have to cancel the whole project because this is not holding up. And okay, what did we do wrong? Okay, the tape is pressure activated, so you have to like put a lot of pressure on the tape, and the kids were not really instructed to do that, and kids' fingers are not so strong also. So okay, we messed up, we failed. Or could there be some way of solving this? Could we salvage all these 4,096 pyramids and make the whole big thing in some way? And we could. We just had to gather all our friends and everyone we could find to come and help. And with some extra hot glue and some extra material, we could piece it all together again. It took a few extra days of work, but it was definitely worth it. So the pieces started coming together, forming larger and larger structures. And we were mesmerized by working with it, with how beautiful it was. And this is the final day. We're gonna put up the top piece of it. So 4 pieces, there are approximately 9 meters tall each. And there was a little bit of wind. And we were lucky it was only a little bit of wind, because otherwise it would have been completely impossible. And we would have walked away in shame. But small amount of wind made it possible. So with the help of this big crane, we could lift the top part into place with a final height of 17.25 meters, total weight of about 650 kilos, the whole thing. And the people from the university and the Guinness Book of World Record were there to measure it and make sure everything was done in the right way. And it was. So we got this certificate from the Guinness Book of World Records for one of the most obscure records, building the largest Sierpinski pyramid. No one has beaten it yet, but I hope someone will one day. To just give you an idea of like the how yeah, a little bit more insight in how it was for the kids to work with it, I will show you this video. unfortunately, it's in Swedish. Maybe I will.
Det roligaste med att vara här idag tycker jag är att man bygger från små till större och större. Det är många klasser och alla verkar vara med i det och tycka att det är roligt.
Först var det lite svårt, sen blev det bättre att bygga.
Jag har lärt mig hur man bygger en sån här pyramid och hur roligt det kan vara. Jag har inte varit med i något världsrekord förut, men jag tror detta kommer lyckas jättebra.
Om en stund. Vi kommer till att försöka slå ett världsrekord, fattar ni? Hur coolt är det?
Det är så att vi vill visa ett roligt sätt hur man kan lära sig om matte, om forskning och vetenskap. Så därför har alla ni fått vara med här och bygga den här pyramiden tillsammans med oss.
Yes, we made it in the end, and a lot of people asked me, like, what does this represent? Like an artistic statement or something. When I don't know it really. Still, it's a kind of a mystery, and I like that. Like, we don't have to have all the answers to why we are doing the things all the time. They could just be for the fun of it, and it doesn't have to be like a pretentious meaning to it all. I'm sure there is meaning to it that I haven't really understood myself yet, perhaps, but just I wanted to see it, I wanted to experience it, and to do that together with people. That's reason enough to do that. And yeah, I'm very, it was standing for in its total length, it was standing for about 20 minutes. And then we took the top piece down, and then it was standing in these 4 big pyramids for about a month in the area. And yeah, no one painted on it, no one damaged it or anything. It was very well respected by the people and the community. So unfortunately, it's not there anymore, so I can't go look at it. So probably I will have to build a new one someday. That will also be like, maybe I can build one that can stand for 10,000 years. That would be nice. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have some different ideas. So I will stop sharing. And so this was a little summary of the different initiatives and projects that I've done throughout the years that I think are representative in the maker ethos, within the maker movement, and things you can do as a maker. If another maker had come here and presented, it would of course have been completely different projects, as we are all doing very, very different things. And my emphasis on as a maker has always been this: to do the thing that I want to do, explore the thing that I feel energy to go into. So I will open up the space for a little bit of a reflection, and after a few minutes we will take just a short break. So a question for the reflection could be like, in what ways can these stories, these examples inspire you to move forward? Or if you have reflections of any other kind.
One spontaneous reflection I had, I thought it was such a cool project, and also very funny how if you have like a vision like you had and this like crazy dream to begin with, then it works to get in touch with schools and use kids to to make that dream a reality. Genius. No, but yeah, because they need to learn and they need to experiment as well. It's a part of their like science projects. So that's a very cool experience for them, I think. They can also say it to their friends. Yeah, about what they were a part of, something bigger. But in general, I'm thinking if you start something like that, then it's very important to make sure that everybody is like dedicated and engaged and takes it, seriously, and like shows up when they're supposed to show up.
Yeah, maybe if I can reflect on your presentation. Firstly, that's like I put it in the chat, it's very, very inspiring. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, I was saying it's very inspiring. I think what Sanda said, and when I saw a lot of children taking part in this, I just reflected back to my own child, how he likes to experiment with things. And I end up signing him up in a robotics class, online class for robotics. So he likes to build things from an early age. You would buy him a car, he would literally dismantle the car, just wanting to know what's inside, what makes this car move, and then tries to put it together. He would fail a couple of times, but eventually he would get how the car works and how to put it back. So I think that is very inspiring in connecting it with young ones to really create that maker like culture within their minds. And the other thing is, like, I'm looking at where I'm based, like in Johannesburg. Like people call Johannesburg the New York City of Africa, because it's very concrete, and art spaces are mostly like far apart. I think the inspiration for me is like, as you were presenting, I've been thinking about spaces within Johannesburg where things can be created, like more outdoor for people to access. So I'm really inspired by that, and to try and perhaps once things are up and running, to have a team of people who volunteer who can create something meaningful for the city, for the country, just to say this is what we want, because people out there are they want to see things. For instance, I can use the same example of the pyramid. If you have to go and see a pyramid here, you have to travel to Egypt, but you can replicate the model and build your own pyramid in different ways in your city, being something that can be attractive to people to come and view and things like that. So I think that's very, very, very inspirational. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Maybe I can go on. Hi everyone, happy to see all of you again. Thank you, Olle, and sorry for joining in a little bit late. But from where I got the presentation, it's just an amazing to see how like people's power can inspire a lot to happen. First, I was really moved by the PPE's production, because during the Corona time, everything was in a mess. Even here in Kenya, just producing what do you call it? Sometimes you could use handkerchiefs to use it as masks. Seeing people to come up with people's power, and I really wish I had this makers culture before. Most probably I would save the day somewhere today, like at our space, and it's just good also to see how an idea that you have and using this idea and giving it away, not really holding the information by yourself, but also giving it away and inspiring a generation to come up with things that it was out of their mind. I know these kids were just making one pyramid or two, but they didn't really know on the impact they're going to make. And now, until the bigger pyramid came up, and now they saw like, oh wow, I think this is something amazing, and I don't want to go back to class again. I want to do this anymore. I want to make pyramids for life. Yeah, so that's something amazing. And yesterday here at Ubunifu, we call our space Ubunifu in Nairobi, Kenya, and Ubunifu means innovation. And yesterday we had a fun day with the kids from an informal settlement around Nairobi, and we gave them paints and cardboard, the same thing that people were using, the recycled, after buying chairs, seats, and all the logistical things here at the office. We retained all the cardboards, and these cardboards are now being used to make paints. And the kids came up with very, I can say, this is their first time holding acrylic paint with a brush, but they came out with a picture or an idea of drawing what they're doing in society. And I'm going to share the board later on because it's downstairs, and you could see a pollution from like their households, the smoke. You could see sewage being directed to the drain, and you could see like people in markets, and they're kind of throwing garbage, and all this was depicted on a cardboard with acrylic paint. So I believe there's so much potential in art. There's so much potential in communicating environmental and climate justice issues using art, and this is just an amazing start for us as spaces to make sure that all this art is transferable to all these people, and to make sure that we make an impact using the skills and the creativity that is in our mind. Over.
It's also inspiring to hear all of your thoughts. A reflection that I take with me is we can think of this as direct or indirect or symbolic manifestations of making, and like direct impact and like practical solutions. I think that's very helpful to get that difference. And so we can prototype with the cardboard. I think it's an awesome idea to prototype like what would the future look like, a sustainable future. Whereas we could build a structure to deliver a message on a square, and do like activism in that way, or we can make different things. So I started making lists of like, okay, what can be like direct effect things versus what can be like things we do indirect effect on. And I think we have a lot of potential there to explore as a group as well. Kind of what are the tactics, you could say, in making that we can use, and opening up my mind quite a lot with that. Over.
I also made tons of notes for my future self, because I was like, oh yeah, we could do this, and also that is a good idea. So it was really inspirational in that sense, that it really started my mind to go. And especially it was eye-opening for me with the pyramids that, you know, like there's like something big that you want to construct, and you can like scale it down to bits, which is even possible to be done by a school kid with no specific materials or tools or anything. So I really like that, you know, like if the concept is scalable and adjustable, then everybody can join in to do something big together. So for me, that was really, really eye-opening. So, and also, like Yannick said, I was constantly also thinking like, how can we do something which is also practical, usable in the future, or in that sphere of making.
I can go. I think for me, from this presentation and the one that was done by that guy from Uganda, Bruno, I am convinced that making is actually like a mindset. And it makes us, you know, start thinking and basically try to say that, you know, because it's a mindset, it's an opportunity for us to express ourselves. So it relates very well with what we are doing, I think, at Planet One, and, you know, yeah, Planet One as a global project. And I think I can allude that to what I saw, that I came in at the piano stage. I don't know, Ole, whether that piano, was it really playing?
It was playing. It was connected to an electronic keyboard through cables from each.
That was so brilliant. And, you know, to my mind, I'm like, you know, you can play a piano using different body parts. You don't have to use hands to play. So you can do with your legs, with your feet, I mean, whichever way you just want to express yourself. So that is very inspirational. Yeah.
If I can go again, I was thinking earlier about how we have already kind of started with the making aspect in our makerspace at Momentum. It's mostly been about fixing things, and we've counted that and named that making as well. So we had a few like bike workshops where we got a bunch of old bikes that we needed to repair, and then the participants got to take the bike with them home. And we've had several ideas of like using recycled materials also to make new things, but also to repair old things, like to have clothing workshops and things like that, or sewing workshops. And that's an idea that I can see will probably evolve and continue at Momentum, at least. I also got an email from the municipality in Stockholm where they were wondering if we could, I'm sorry, people are loud in the background. If we could do something similar to represent Momentum, but like in another part of the city. A bike workshop, like a mobile bike workshop kind of, so that people maybe bring their bikes and then we repair them together there. Also to show that like, yeah, we do this kind of activities and we also do other things and this is who we are. So I really like that idea, and it was nice to be approached like from other people who have similar ideas about how to involve young people in like repairing and fixing. And yesterday we also had a workshop about like, what's it called in English, shop stops, and how to stop consuming as much and to reduce consumerism. And basically the lecturer also focused a lot on that, on how to like remake and reuse things and to not buy, to stop buying new things. So that was actually very eye-opening, like, okay, if we choose that focus, or if we have several workshops on that theme, and continue to make, but from like recycled materials, I think that's something to take with us. moving forward.
Thank you. August, did you have an opportunity to share?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I can't see your face, so that makes it more difficult to remember, but it's okay. I think it's time for a little break. So, there you are. Good to see you. Or did you want to add? Did you want to add anything else?
No, for me, it's more. I think it's more about like I'm listening to the, like on your presentation, you work with different people, different stakeholders, municipalities, etc. I think that would be a great idea here in our area, yeah, especially in Johannesburg, because most of the time our municipalities are really, they're close to us, but also feel very far away in terms of our connecting with people. So I think that is something that also I take away as an opportunity to explore how we can incorporate our local municipalities to come in and perhaps collaborate and provide spaces, because I think at the ultimate end, we might need municipal owned spaces to perhaps build our projects that come up within the makerspace. So I think it would be a good idea to perhaps start looking at who to connect with within the local municipalities. Yeah, and all of that. I think that's a valuable takeaway as well from my end. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for your reflections. There will be more time for reflections. Also, we have a bit over an hour left, but let's take a break for 5 minutes and meet here again. Or do you need more than 5 minutes? Is 5 minutes okay? Yeah, okay, let's do 5 minutes. So we meet here at yeah, in 5 minutes, 11:30. See you soon.
Hello, skulle vi vara tillbaka halva där?
Jag tuggar lite samtidigt.
Ja, jag åt också lite.
I'm wondering about now everyone is taking notes on their own, and I think that's good. But as we will have these kinds of workshops going forward, maybe it's interesting that if we have like a shared Google Doc where we put our notes in, but like I have a page, so it's Yannick's page for taking notes, and then August has like a page to take notes and stuff like that. Maybe that could be a way to take notes together.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I, for one, let me just, I've been writing ideas that are coming, but those are like my notes that I've been taking. Yeah,
exactly.
Just, yeah, I think it would be a good idea to put them together, because in any case, we can replicate what comes up. So, yeah.
Yeah, and like, so everyone will, it feels like no one's taking the same kinds of notes. So you're writing down ideas, I'm like thinking conceptually about things. So it's like nice to have those notes, even though they're like, we're covering different parts of whatever is in between us, right? I'll set up a Google Doc and then we can have one of those for each internal training that we have.
Excellent. Yes, a place to keep notes.
Yeah.
My intention for today was to try the Miro board, but I didn't introduce it in the beginning. So there was a link in the email invitation. So we can try to use it and see if it works for everyone. We do it. Otherwise, we use the Google document for collecting notes. So is there anyone?
We can take notes directly in the Miro board.
If it works for everyone, or otherwise a Google document is better. Is there anyone that have you tried the Miro board? Can you come in and get access to it? Let me know if it doesn't work, because then we will go to another place. Because here where we are, we see all our names, and there is a bunch of little sticky notes here on the side. So you can, and there is a menu to the left. So in the menu to the left, you can choose to create different types of content. You can create text, sticky notes, shapes, and many different things. Today, I think sticky notes and tape and text will be enough. So you can grab sticky notes from the pile on the right, add it to your little cube. You can change the sizes of the things, and you can add notes in there. And then it will be easy to cluster and to continue working on the content afterwards. If Miro does not work for you, we could do, shall we do both a Google document and the Miro board? It is quite nice to have this visual overview over notes. So Yannick, you can do a Google Doc and post it in the chat. So for anyone who isn't comfortable with Miro or where it doesn't work, you can use the Google document. Would that be good?
Sure. But if everyone has access to the Miro board, then maybe we could just go with that.
Yeah, yeah.
It seems like everyone that's here now has that, but Rose
so
and
if everyone could just try it out, take a note to okay, Gerans, you will get a note as well. I will make a new let's see. Yeah, it will be a little bit messy, but usually my experience when working with Miro is that first we create mess and then we create structure. But it's easy way to get an overview over all the mess. Let's see. Postman's. And I also took some notes during our conversation. So I will bring them up. To here and let's see. So the notes I took, I put them under my name. So you feel free to grab notes from my box also. So let's spend a few minutes organizing the notes. Yeah, there is a Sanda has posted a very big something over.
Oh shit! Sorry, I don't know what I did.
So you can
it's also my text, so I was maybe able to do something in what Sanda was doing. Now I don't know how to delete it.
Right now you can move it, Sanda.
Okay.
By clicking it and dragging it or changing its size.
Can I? Yeah. But my screen changed completely. It wasn't like this before. Can I show you what it looks like? My screen, if I share it?
Yeah.
Because I don't even see what you are talking about, actually.
I think Olle moved it away as well.
Yeah, I moved it. And I'm making it smaller. So I put it on top of the team now.
Do you see what it looks like for me?
Let's see. Oh yes, you're zoomed out. So do you have a mouse or a trackpad? You can.
I don't have. Yeah. Okay. I'm just extremely zoomed out, but I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Are you working with the mouse or the trackpad?
No, the trackpad.
Yeah. So then you can pinch to zoom in, as you notice. Then you can use 2 fingers to move around on the board.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice to get flowing into this. So, and we will keep this going throughout the day today, and you will also get to keep this after the meeting, so you can access this at any time and continue working on it or copying things from here into other places as you wish. So after you left, Julia, everyone got to give some reflections on the presentation. And yeah, I would like to open up for you as well to give any reflections you have from what you heard and saw.
No, this was really cool to see. It's really interesting. Reflections. I don't know, it's a really interesting concept, and I've gotten like maybe some ideas out of it, so that's nice. I don't know, I'm a bit, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Thank you. We will soon move on to the next part. I see there is still a lot of notes being posted. So I'll be giving you a few more minutes to collect and gather thoughts.
Hej, jag sitter i ett möte.
Okay, so we can start. We can start finishing the note you're writing on right now, and we will gather again.
Now you got us playing.
The overall history of making and the maker as a concept. Would that be useful to you, or do you feel you already have the history? No? Okay, let's do that.
Like it. Yeah.
Let's do it in the Miro. So I will push a button, and then you will all be gathered at where I am.
Okay.
So push. Everyone is at the dawn of man. Yeah. So if we ask the question when did human become makers? No one really knows, but very long time ago we started making things, and we also have a lot of animals on our planet that are making things. Octopus using different shells as body armor, and orangutans using different sticks to find insects in trees. So there's many species on our planet that are makers. Of course, us as humans, we have taken it to we've taken it very far, and probably in the beginning of time, everyone was a maker because everyone needed to contribute to the effort of the local tribe, the local community we were living in. It seems that it was first when we started getting specialized and having big cities and societies, then people started to be bureaucrats and office workers and not involved in the creation of things with our hands in the same way. So most of our time as humans, we've probably been makers in one way or another. And then we will take a big jump to 1946. This is, of course, a lot happened between the dawn of man and 1946. So this is a very rough overview, not complete in any way. To the left here, we have the Tech Model Railroad Club of MIT. MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in the America. So they had this railroad club, and they made railroads, toy railroads. And this is the place where the concept of hacking was born, because they started to modify the railways to make them better, to improve them. They took them apart and changed different things inside, and also started to program different lights and different things and create these railroad worlds. So that was a club for nerds at that time. The railroad club is still existing today at MIT. So, but that is the place where the concept of hacking began. Taking something apart and making something different of it, playing with the technology and opening it up. Then we have 1968 also in the US. This is this history of making is quite Euro and US centered. So we'll just have to bear with that. 1968, there is a publication on the Whole Earth Catalog. It was like a Wikipedia, but in like a newspaper format. So just instructions for how to do anything, really, how to build things, create, make your own devices, how to plant, how to grow food, how to build your house, how to work with electronics, how to build a radio transmitter, and all kinds of different things. And this is where the DIY movement, the do-it-yourself idea comes from. This place, the Whole Earth Catalog, and also the movement by the end of the 60s, where people started to think in revolutionary terms in many different ways, and people started to get conscious about that we are actually living on this planet, and it is a finite system, and we should probably take care of it and be responsible for that, each and every one of us. So a lot of interesting history in the maker movement, the do-it-yourself movement, comes from this. This started with a Whole Earth Catalog that then kind of grew out into Wikipedia. They had the ideas of sharing knowledge, sharing resources freely amongst people. So very similar to the way a library also works. A library and a makerspace is also very similar. I probably should have put the library in this list here somewhere, but I didn't. But library is very similar to makerspace in the sense that it has the philosophy that we should share knowledge. It should be free and available to people. And we jump up to 1986. 1986. We also in the United States, an event called Burning Man started by some people that had been very active in the hippie and environmentalist movement in the end of the 60s, but they had survived and not they hadn't become normal people yet. So they were still playing around and seeing a group of people in San Francisco that saw the world as their playground, and they could make up any kind of events and rules and things. So they started going out in the desert and just building large things and making costumes. It started with they had a Santa parade in San Francisco very early that gained a lot of followers, and then they decided to do a Santa Claus theme camp in the desert, and banded together with some guys that had been building a large wooden man on the beach, which also attracted a lot of people into the art making process. So a kind of a movement for free art and free expression started to grow in the desert in Nevada. Now it attracts, when there's not a pandemic, it attracts around 70 to 80,000 people in the US, and hundreds of thousands of people more worldwide who come into this these festivals that are based on co-creation, participation, decommodification, meaning that it's not like there's no advertisers, there's nothing being sold. It's a gifting economy. So a lot of these values are transmitted through the maker movements of having sharing space, opening up for people's creativity to blossom, helping each other, and doing weird things that are also in some way meaningful or at least funny. So this has grown a lot throughout the ages. And I think there is actually Africa Burn is happening now during this week. So about 11,000 people. I don't know where. I think it's, yeah, it is in South Africa somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but there's like 11,000 people, I think, gathering in the desert there. And this is like a playground for adults and kids to do more or less anything you want to do. And by many people it's seen as like the one of the more weirder extensions of the maker culture, but also one of the more magnificent and large scale ones. So yes, I could talk about that for a very long time, but let's move over to 1990. So here we have, to the left, we have in 1990, we had C-Base, which is the operations center for the Chaos Computer Club. And this is in Berlin, in Germany. And C-Base is the first official hackerspace that we have on the planet. And the term hackerspace is also coined here. So this is a place for non-profit, knowledge sharing, skill sharing related to software, hardware, and data networks. So a lot of people gathered through the interest of making things with computers and technology, synthesizers and music and lights, LEDs, and websites. This was during the early days of the internet and what would later be the World Wide Web. Also a very interesting era in our time. So a hackerspace, but not hackers as in people who wants to like extort money from someone or destroy things, but people who are also have incorporated ethics in their way of working. We will come to that later, also a little bit more about the ethics of these places. So a lot of people came to C-Base and got inspired throughout Europe and North America, first and foremost. And they were inspired and started a lot of hacker spaces in other places around the world as well. And then in 1998, there was a course also at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology that was called How to Make Almost Anything. So they invited people to come and to use this was early in the days of digital fabrication. So CNC machines and 3D printers, laser cutters. No, 3D printers were not available at that time, but laser cutters and CNC machines and other digital fabrication tools had just started to come available to people, which made it possible for each and every one to like have access to a micro factory where you could realize your ideas. So here they started teaching and educating people in rapid prototyping methods and electronics, and really how to make a product by yourself or with a small team of people instead of having a big factory, which is one significant like shift in our technological culture at this time. Before this time, it was a lot more expensive to realize an idea, to create an innovation. But here things started to change, and tools, technologies, and materials started to get really cheap. So you didn't have to have a lot of money in order to create and invent something. This gave rise to the Fab Lab. The first Fab Lab was created at MIT in 2001. Fab Lab is one of the many different types of maker spaces. So there's Fab Labs all around the world, and they are usually hosted inside a university or a culture center or some bigger establishments. Whilst the hackerspace is more of a club for people to come together and do things that they think are fun and interesting, and it's usually like a membership fee. People pay the membership fee, and that is enough to cover the rent and materials. The Fab Lab is usually hosted by some institution that pays for it, and it opens it up for its students to use, or people. Usually, some people in general are also welcome to use the Fab Labs. And then we moved to 2005, and this is in the era where like YouTube has just started, and sharing information on the internet has taken a few steps up. The digital fabrication tools have become even cheaper, so access to creating technology is even more accessible to many people around the world. So a magazine was started called Make Magazine in 2005. This was the start of the term, the maker movement, coined by this guy Dale Doherty, that created this Make Magazine. So he went around the country and just met with people, interviewed people who were building things in their garages and in their schools and in their workplaces, and showing these projects to the world. And we go over to 2006. This is when the Maker Faire started. So also a very big year for the global maker movement. The Maker Faire is like a fair or festival. So the way it works is that you have someone organize it, and they have a space, and then you invite makers to come and show their things, and then you invite people to come and look at the things. It is immensely popular around the world. US and China has the largest maker fairs with over 300,000 participants per event. It's very large, and both indoor and outdoor activities. So and this is still going on in many parts of the world. I've been to 2 maker fairs in the US, in New York and in California, and to one in Singapore as well. Singapore, I think, was my favorite because there I got to learn how to make clay, and I made a pot out of clay and coconut fiber, which is something I really love in this like very otherwise like high-tech environments. You can go down to the really like fundamental low-tech also. So yeah, Maker Faire is welcomes any type of maker. You can be someone who is into knitting, or you can be someone who is into making giant octopuses that shoots flames, or someone who's into cosplay, making costumes, dressing up as superhero characters, or one guy that I was neighboring at Maker Faire one year. He was working at NASA doing experiments with bacteria and shooting radiation at the bacteria to see to make like a resilient strain of bacteria that could survive in space. So he had his experiment on one table, and on the other table, on the other side of me, there was a family that had built a little pinball game with rubber bands and a wooden plate that you could turn around, and like you could design your own little like a labyrinth box where there was a game where you like, yeah, the ball is supposed to roll through the labyrinth without falling into a hole. So they had made their own version of this. So it's a very, very interesting environment to see different types of projects on different scales. And let's see. And this brings us into mentioning a few things that that's common for all these different actors, which can be summarized through the Maker Movement Manifesto that I posted here in this part. I will bring everyone to here now. So this is something to take inspiration from and build upon also. Maker Movement Manifesto: to make, share, give, learn, tool up, play, participate, support, and change. This could be studied into detail a lot more, and I have also provided in this board a few books, which Maker Movement Manifesto is one of them. So I will not take the time and go into presenting it because it's already very, very well put together in the book that is free to download as a PDF. To here. So yes, and from 2006 to 2021, now we are here and we are at Planet One. And of course, the Maker Movement is amazing in many ways. Maybe it's also dangerous in many ways because it's kind of has this focus on doing all these stuff, making all these things, and in one way, in many ways, that's very problematic. It's like it drives us to create more and use more materials, and we live on a planet with endless with that doesn't have an endless amount of material. So this is kind of this is a very big conflict in working with these types of maker projects. Like, is it ethically okay of us to use all these resources to do all these things? And we have to weigh back and forth. And of course, some people don't care about that, and then it's easier for them. So it's kind of strange situation. It's very unfair. Like for us who wants to do things in more or less sustainable things, it's more difficult, but the reward is perhaps greater when we are able to find ethical ways of making and still have amazing things that brings us together. So that I see as a challenge that you and some other actors around the planet are really focusing on right now. How can we like continue to create meaningful and beautiful things and useful things around us in a sustainable way? And there are some answers, but there are more questions than answers to this as we move forward. So some examples of things we can make that are not depleting resources is, of course, this concept of upcycling, where we take something that would have otherwise been trash and we make something useful or beautiful, interesting out of it. Some guys built a little world of shipping pallets that are usually like single-use shipping pallets. They're only used once, so that's a resource you can use. So these guys built a really interesting labyrinth with it. Old TV for your cat, or a guitar out of a skateboard. I mean, it's easy to find different upcycling projects. There's many different examples, and very easy to Google more of these examples. There is one concept that is quite close to what we're doing here. That's called hacktivism, bringing together hacking and activism. So we see a lot of that happening now with the war with Russia and Ukraine. A lot of hacktivists are doing things to try to stop Russia or to expose the Russian population for news or for facts from since they are not getting that from their state. So there's a lot of people very active in hacktivism. You don't usually see them because they sit by themselves at home behind a computer. But they are also part of the maker-hacker movement, in the sense that they are making digital solutions to problems, or they are using digital technology to exert influence. And usually the way hacktivists work is by sharing information that has otherwise been hidden, like the WikiLeaks, for example, have done in many different situations, and Anonymous as well. This can be debated and should be debated in whether this is ethical or not in different ways. But this is hacktivism is a thing. And then we have over here, we have craftivism, which is, I took in 2 examples of crafting, these knitting nanas against gas. So a bunch of nanas that are into knitting, they're also against gas and new coal. They want climate justice, so they gather and they knit, and they do manifestations, they do demonstrations, and they have built a community around people who like knitting and also want climate justice. And a similar project is this, the Tapestry project, personal and collaborative fiber art, environmental education, and climate activism through data representation, all rolled out into sprawling community of friends, artists, crafters, teachers, scientists, activists, nature lovers, and more. So, so they visualize climate data through this type of knitting, and anyone is welcome to join the project and work with it. So this is one way of using, or 2 ways of using craft and art to bring awareness to climate issues. And there's many more, and many more to be discovered yet as well. So I will just show you this one to the right. We will not go into it, but these are a few resources that I've gathered for you. I've gathered a lot more as well, but this is good to begin with. Meaningful Making. It's 2 books. It's about 150 pages each, with examples of projects and inspirations for Fab Labs and makerspaces. And it's meaningful is yeah, they made it meaningful so that it's not only for fun or not only for discovering a technology or so. They include a lot of more values into the making. So I haven't read the books myself from page to page, but I have looked in them many times for examples of things to do, and they go through a lot of both how to organize yourself, how to host workshops, philosophies, ethics, ways of working, and with clear instructions and examples of specific activities to do. So if you're ever looking for something to do and you don't have an idea yourself, you can just dive into one of these books, and there is a lot of material to go for. There's also this wonderful site called instructables.com that has instructions for more or less anything. If you want to hang a wall, know how to drill a hole in the wall to hang a picture, or if you want to build your own 3D printer, you can go to instructables.com and get instructions from there. And some more resources here also that you can explore. So there is a lot of resources for you out there. There is also a lot of people that would be interesting to connect to your environment after some time, that are working on on similar agendas with meaningful making. Yes, that was a brief summary of the history of making, ending with some resources for you to go further into after this meeting. So let's gather again for a round of reflections in this. And I think we can look at the history of making, and as I see it, it's like it happened, something happened there between 1946 and 2006, and now something else needs to happen. We need to make making ethical and meaningful. We need to find ways to create a sustainable world that we want to live in, and I guess that's why we are here. So to begin working on that, it's not an easy task to do, but step by step and through prototyping and through sharing these resources, networks, people, we will get there. So I will open up the table for reflections on the history of making and where we are at in the moment. And as usual, anyone is welcome to bring in your reflections, and we don't go in any particular order.
Do we write them on post-its and put it there, or this is a verbal round? Sorry, I maybe misunderstood there.
Well, maybe it could actually be good to take a few minutes in silence, each and every one, and write down your reflections on the notes. So let's do that. Let's take. Shall we have three minutes? Yeah, I'll let it go 3 minutes, and then I'll check in with you if you need more time. So let's go ahead. Okay, we can finish the thing we're writing right now. So we only actually have 10 minutes left today. All right, let's gather up. There's so many more things I'd like to show you, but time is up. And yeah, there's only 10 minutes, so I think this will have to be we will put together the like reflections on this and also reflections on the way forward. Where would we like to go from here? And what is our needs in that? Into what will be the checkout for today. And then I will say a few more words and we're finished. So with 10 minutes, time is quite sparse, so we'll need to keep it brief and consistent. And I'll open up the room for reflections on what we heard and how we move forward.
I can go. I think reflection is that what we're doing is not new. The resources are out there, the people are out there. The question is, how do we connect it and package it to our target group to make it relevant for them? I think that's a helpful way of thinking about things. I think when it comes to making, I think our team needs perhaps two things. One is like a sit down to think about, okay, so now when we roll out making, where do we start and what do we focus on? And the second thing is kind of what is the culture and atmosphere that we want to have in our space? Thank you.
What I take away as reflections is two things from the history of making. As one is that I really liked one of your sentences, Olle, when you said that we kind of have the mission to make the maker culture or movement more ethical and more environmental friendly. I really like that, you know, like we're not only trying to follow a movement or like get in there, but also like bring our own ideas and what we stand for in our mission, and that we can also, you know, like contribute with with our package, let's say. So I really like that. And also what Yannick pointed out, that all the knowledge and expertise is out there, and yeah, it's really good to know that we have homework to do and start it. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I think for me, in terms of reflections, I think it's, I think in the presentations that we've had as a team, I think the one bottom line thing about the maker space is, the takeaway for me is that try and try and try again until you get it. Because I think most in our lives, it's all based on this crazy notion, which I don't believe in, of being perfect, because no one is perfect. So seeing that this is a new thing, especially in the context of South Africa, I think we need to be more open-minded and creating a culture within our maker spaces with our target audience to keep on trying, whether they would, whatever they want to build or make, encourage them to try. It's going to be hard. They're going to feel like they're failing, but creating an environment of trying and trying and trying again until you get it. I think that is, for me, most important thing. And also, I think with what Yannick said, also, I think it's very, I think as a team, quite right that we have some sort of homework or understanding that we need to have in terms of how then do we start? What is it that we really need in our spaces, and how does that, how will that link with our target audience in terms of how they can access it, access the space, but do we have what are we offering what they need? Which for me brings a point that I think it is going to be very imperative for us to start having discussions with our target audiences as we go through the makerspace to really get to understand their focus, their needs, their wants, etc., where all those things lies. Yeah, thanks.
And if I can let go on, for me, from the history of making, I believe there's no blueprint of how making should be, and each and every part of the world had their own way of making, and this making came out of something called need. For us, we needed fire. We needed to invent fire, and this invention came, and the execution of it built a movement. That's why there is a matchbox industries happening like all over the world, and this movement will surely spark and also change the world. So I believe in all our spaces we might work on different things, but our main objective is to change the world for a better place. Over.
Yeah, I can go. I think it's been really interesting, and I'm really excited to learn more from the sources you have given us. And I'm really thinking, how can we make maybe our project is pretty unique, and I think how can we create another kind of making that is ethical and sustainable? How would that look for us? Because we'll look at how others do making, but we need to invent something ourselves, what is making for Planet One. And just got some reflection connected to that, and I think it would be really interesting to develop that. Are you there, Rose?
Yeah, I think for me, from the presentation, I can just say that making is not a mystery, or it's not mysterious. Historically, it's something that has been there for a very long time, given the trend in which from 1980s all the way to 2000, And I think the only difference is that the making has become modernized, and so it's very contemporary. So I think from where I see it, we can begin with what we have. However, if we are not maybe technologically savvy, we can still do that and try to modernize as we move forward. So I think making is very simplified, from this presentation. So yeah, and the sky is the limit. We can do a lot, to relate with what we are doing in relation to climate and environment. Yeah, so there are many possibilities. That's what I can say. Thanks.
Anyone want to add anything more? Okay.
Let me just say thank you so much. And like, I don't know how your mind holds such enormous knowledge. I'm just thinking of it. Yeah, so I really want to appreciate you and say that you're doing an amazing work and continue doing the same. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I have, there's one more frame in the Miro board I would like to show you with resources that I'm leaving for you. So if we all go into the Miro board again and go here to the far right, resources for pedagogy, organization, and philosophy, etc. We have here to the far down to the right in the board. I will bring everyone to me here. You have some research articles. You have the Maker Manifesto, some guides on like how to start makerspaces, and some different sources that I've found within the field also of meaningful and ethical and sustainable making that are interested. I haven't read all of them fully through. I've like peeked into them and see that, yeah, this is good stuff. So from some different perspective, political perspective, ethical perspective, sustainable perspective. So and if you find more resources, feel free to add that here also. The way you can do here is just to click on any of these, and a little menu will pop up, and you can then you can click download and read it. I would recommend the Maker Manifesto. It's pretty simple read and a good one. So, and now it's 12:30. So there's so much more I wanted to work with you, but maybe there will be another time. I hope so. I think you're gonna do great. I encourage you to try things. I encourage you to fail many times. The more times you fail, the better, and fail fast, fail early. And it's okay to feel ashamed of stuff going wrong, and help each other, be supportive of each other along this journey, along this route of trying things out. You will all try different things, and you will learn from each other. And I also encourage you to do the thing that you want to do. Try the thing that you want to try. Build it from wherever you feel passionate, where you can feel the spark within you. That's a good place to start. There's a lot of other people who have done things that we can take inspiration from, but just taking that step, each and every one of us, into the unknown and trying out our ideas. 9 of them will maybe be weird and not work, but the 10th will be something that can be repeated, and that will create solutions also and inspirations for other people around the world. I want to also encourage you to just ask help from each other and ask for help from other people in the maker community. We're all here to share our knowledge and our time together on this little planet, so to make it amazing. So I'm very happy to share this time with you. It brings me a lot of hope to connect with you, and really hope to get to meet with you guys again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olle.
Thanks.
So what are you up to now? I'm gonna go out in the sun.
Yay.
There's no sun here.
No.
Right.
I'm over here. It's kind of cold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fail at budgets. Trying and failing.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much, and
Yeah, thank you.
Afternoon ahead. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank
Have
you.
a great day. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.